Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Blade. Blade's real name is Eric Brooks, and he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 180 pounds, having brown eyes and black hair. He made his first appearance in Tomb of Dracula number 10 in July of 1973. Now, due to an enzyme that's found in his bloodstream, which was the result of his mother being bitten by a vampire while giving birth to him, Blade is immune to the bites of typical supernatural vampires. In certain instances, he also appeared to be immune to vampire hypnosis as well. In the beginning, he lacked superhuman physical attributes, but he relied solely on his considerable skill and determination until Morbius, an atypical, scientifically created vampire, bit him, and then Blade was turned into something that resembles a dhampir, which is an individual that has one vampire parent and one human parent. After this, Blade gained the ability to have superhuman strength, stamina, speed, agility, heightened senses, and a rapid healing factor. And this healing factor can attack any alien substance, chemical or virus that's in his body and eliminates any chance of him being rendered helpless or maimed from the inside. And he's also unaffected by daylight and most other traditional vampire weaknesses. Blade also ages very slowly, although he's not immortal, and he can sense any type of supernatural activity or beings. He's a master martial artist that's perfected fighting styles such as boxing, capoeira, eskrima, jeet kune do, hapkido, jujitsu, karate, kung fu, and ninjutsu. He's also a very skilled swordsman, marksman, and street fighter, and is adept at using throwing knives, which he does quite often. Blade has also shown that he's highly knowledgeable about vampire lore as well as all other types of supernatural myths. Now, it was displayed in the title, Dracula's Gauntlet, that Blade and Deadpool were surrounded by monsters, and Blade threatened to turn into a bat and leave Deadpool there to die. This is interesting because he may have all vampire powers, but feel conflicted about using the ones that make him seem less human. But despite all his abilities, Blade doesn't take orders very well and is difficult to work with in large team settings. Now, the traditional backstory to Blade is that over 70 years ago, Blade's mother, who was a London prostitute, was fatally bitten by a vampire, Deacon Frost, while giving birth to him. And this gave him unique abilities that were similar to a half-vampire, as I mentioned earlier, a dhampir. But he did not have his strengths at that time. Now, friends of Blade's mother raised him in their brothel. When he was 9, he helped horn player Jamal Afari fend off a trio of vampires, and the jazz trumpeter moved into the brothel to tutor Blade in both music and the hunting of vampires. In his youth, Blade ran a street gang called the Bloodshadows. But after the vampire Lamia transformed his girl Glory into a vampire, he gave up gang life and returned to vampire hunting. When Dracula turned Afari into a vampire also, Blade assembled a team of hunters to track the vampire lord to China. After losing his first team, Blade partnered with Dracula's old foe, Quincy Harker, as well as Rachel Van Helsing and Frank Drake. And finally, when Blade's path crossed Deacon Frost, he went after his mother's killer. During this time, he met and partnered with Hannibal King, a detective whom Frost had turned into a vampire. Together with King, Drake, and Doctor Strange, Blade helped unleash the Montesi formula, a spell that destroyed all the vampires on Earth. His quest ended and Blade opened a detective agency with Drake and King, named Borderline Investigations, and they battled occult threats such as the Nightstalkers. When Dracula returned, though, and beat Blade, Blade's fury caused him to snap, and he was placed in a mental institution until Doctor Strange could help him out. Shortly after he was freed, Blade was tricked into using a page from the mystical book Darkhold to give himself supernatural powers, and he then carried the name Switchblade. Another page from the Forbidden Book returned him back to normal. Now, while he was working with Spider-Man, Blade was bitten by his sometime ally, Morbius. As I stated earlier, Blade's immunity to vampires didn't apply to Morbius's unique condition, and that's when Blade gained the powers of a vampire, but without their weaknesses to sunlight, which caused him to be known as the Daywalker. Also during Marvel's Civil War, Blade registered and worked with S.H.I.E.L.D., which gave him a gun hand to replace one he'd bitten off to keep from being force-fed and innocent by Lucas Cross, a vampire who claims to be his father. And during the Secret Invasion, he worked with MI-13 and struck up a relationship with the part vampire hero Spitfire. He ended up later helping the X-Men against Dracula's son, Xerxes, despite the fact that they brought the vampire lord back as well. Now, due to his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Comics universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Blade a rating of 7, which is a master rating. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe to The New Sage.